Aloha! Welcome everybody, I'm Thomas, and this is Prepping for Paradise. This week we're going to be looking at hell. Where is hell, and what is hell, according to the Bible? And I think a lot of you are going to be shocked at what the Bible has to say about this subject. So let's get into it. In Revelation 20, verse 9, it reads, "And fire came down from God and devoured them." And that should be a clue as to where we're going with this. Because many people have become atheists because of this doctrine that came from the medieval church, that people burn through the ceaseless ages of time for the sins committed in their lifetime. This begs the question, why would a just God penalize somebody for all eternity for possibly just one sin? And why would somebody like this have the same punishment as, say, a Hitler, who killed millions of people? That would surely not be justice. So let's dive a little deeper into this subject and see what Scripture has to say. "And fear not them which kill the body, but are unable to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell." And there the word destroy is fully destroy, according to the Concordance. "And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death." This brings up an important part in the Bible on this study and the meaning of hell, because there are several. In the Old Testament, it is Sheol, which is the grave. Also in the New Testament, we have Hades, which is the Greek term for the same, the grave. But we also see Gehenna, which is the place of burning, which came from the valley of Hinnom, which was a fire that was outside of Jerusalem that was continuously burning, and refuse is brought there and burnt up. This is the lake of fire. We must not confuse the two. One is the grave, the other is the lake of fire, which comes down from God and devours the wicked. That's Matthew 10:28, Revelation 20:12, Revelation 20:15, and Revelation 20:14. "And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemn them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that should live ungodly. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works therein shall be burnt up." So this is an important point. Is it eternal punishing or eternal punishment? Is the eternal fire eternal and that the consequences are eternal? I think we can see from the line, the second death, that it's the consequences that are eternal. We can see from the previous episode on the state of the dead that man does not innately have an immortal soul, and that he only has immortality when he has access to the tree of life or the river of life. So unless the Lord is going to let the people in hell partake of the tree of life, there cannot be eternal punishing, but rather it's eternal punishment. There is no resurrection from the second death. "For our God is a consuming fire. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melteth before the fire, so let the wicked perish at the presence of God. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. And I looked, and I behold a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud and a fire, enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. And I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire. I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness all about it. As the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain, so was the appearance of the brightness round about. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto me in a flame of fire, out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire. His head and his hair were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in the furnace. So it's pretty obvious, folks. The glory of God is a consuming fire. Sinful man can't stand in the presence of God without being consumed. This is why he was taken out of the garden and separated from the Lord. You will have to be clothed with the righteousness of Christ in white raiment in order to stand in the presence of the Lord. It seems like sin is a combustible material, and if you have that and you're near the Lord, you will be consumed by the brightness of his glory. God is a consuming fire, and that fire comes down from God and devours the wicked. 2 Peter 2:6, 3:10, Jude, verse 7, Psalms 68, verse 2, Ezekiel 28:14, Ezekiel 1:4, 13, 27, and 28, Exodus 3:2, Revelations 15:2, and Revelations 20:9. So let's see what this fire does to the wicked. But the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be as the fat of lambs. They shall consume, into smoke shall they consume away. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is they that shall be destroyed forever. Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them, and they shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before. Consume them in wrath, consume them, that they may not be. Thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thine anger. The Lord shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them. Our God shall come and shall not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melteth before the fire, so let the wicked perish at the presence of God. For my days are consumed like smoke, and my bones are burned as an hearth. Let the sinners be consumed out of the earth, and let the wicked be no more. And thou mourn at the last, when thy flesh and thy body are consumed. And the destruction of the transgressors and of the sinners shall be together, and they that forsake the Lord shall be consumed. Therefore have I poured out my indignation upon them. I have consumed them with the fire of my wrath. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for there shall be ashes under the soles of your feet. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, all that do wickedly, shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. And they shall be as though they had not been. Let burning coals fall upon them. Let them be cast into the fire, into deep pits, that they may not rise up again. So it's pretty straightforward, folks. The wicked are consumed, stubble, ashes, devoured, destroyed. It'll be as if they never were. There's no resurrection from the second death. When studying scripture and doctrine, you always start with the easy verses and work your way up to the more difficult ones. There are 2 difficult verses in Revelation, but the Bible does not contradict itself. So if they seem to contradict, it's because the interpretation is wrong. We will cover this in the next episode, because this ties into the 1,000 years, and when the wicked are devoured, and fire came down from God and devoured them. Until next time, trust in the Lord.